All right, time is a funny thing. A minute can feel like forever. A year can pass in the blink of an eye. When it comes to business, we often have to answer the question, have I spent my time wisely? In this segment, sponsored by Action Coach Columbus, Pete McDowell joining me with advice on how we can do just that and manage all the hours in the day. So good to have you back, Pete.
Sure, Robyn. Good to be here.
All right. And this is, I love that you said this kind of is based on a book that you read.
Yep.
And it's called Who, Not How.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, the premise of that, and I believe it was Dan Sullivan and Dr. Hardy that wrote that book together, and Peg and I read a lot, and the book is basically about when you want to accomplish something, it's not so much about figuring out what steps do I need to take and how do I carve out the time to do it.
Yeah.
Who do I get on my team to help me get it done?
Okay.
Who do I need to hire? What association do I need to join? And what person could help me that's really an expert in that area and could help get more done with less time?
I was going to say, and then it naturally gives you more time because you have the people to then kind of delegate that task to,
Frees
correct?
up your time to do something else.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
All right. So, and I know that you say too, a lot of it is personal time and then managing your business time.
It's both. And they're interconnected even now more than they were a few years ago. Your personal and your business time.
And yeah, talk about that, because I mean, we are in this remote world, right, in a lot of ways, and that's intertwined. But how do we make sure that we separate the two?
Well, number one, figure out what's important to you.
Okay.
That's the most important thing first. And it could be personal and business, two different things. But personally, if exercise is really important, we'll schedule it. Put it in your calendar. Peg and I do that. It's in the calendar, and that's when we go.
Okay.
During the workday or not, and it's got to be done, right? So that way, we schedule around it, and we get it done.
And you have it in there. Somebody, you say, I can't do a meeting at this time because this is my priority.
I'm working out.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then also with family, though, and it's harder, you know, maybe when you've got kids at home or you're trying to do a lot of things, or even adult kids you have, right?
My kids are scattered in 3 different states, so I've got to set aside different time for the different kids and then do things with them that they enjoy that I like to do too, and they're different. So, and we get them together too, to ski.
Do you put that in your calendar too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to plan ahead.
You gotta have like, do you have an app that you have that you recommend? Just a calendar. Just a calendar. All right, let's talk then about in business a bit, Pete, because when you're talking about business relationships, I think essentially too, that it can take a lot of time, but it also is easy, I feel like, for people to think, well, I had a relationship with them 10 years ago, I don't need to keep in touch.
I hired them 2 years ago.
Right, or whatever.
But I haven't seen them since.
Yeah.
So good example, one of our clients is a consulting firm based out of DC, and they've got coaches all over the country.
Okay.
People that are working on projects, but they're in several different cities. And the owner of the company makes a point to call people occasionally if he hasn't talked to them in a while. Now, he's on committees with some of them, working on projects with some of them, but some of them he doesn't talk to regularly. So he just reaches out to them to make sure they know that he cares.
And that
he's just checking on them.
Probably goes a long way, would you say that?
It does. We just did a survey for his company, and there are only a couple of people that he missed, but he's been growing very rapidly, so he's just got to have a systematic way to make sure he touches everybody.
Okay.
Because they enjoy it.
And I was going to say, it goes a long way. And then the other thing, though, when you're an employee, how do you figure how to manage your time? Is that something that you have to, involve the boss in, or you can kind of take it on your own?
Only if you haven't figured out what the boss really wants you to accomplish. If you know what they want you to get done, then hopefully you can order your own day or week and work on it in that order and let the boss know, here's my priorities for the week or the month.
I will say the hardest thing, Pete, and you give me advice for this, procrastination is far too easy to do.
It is, yes.
Okay, so what do you tell people that procrastinate when it comes to anything?
Well, perfection is an enemy, right?
Yeah,
so
I guess.
You got to let some things go, right? It's pretty darn good. It's almost done. Well, close it and move on to the next thing, right?
Okay.
And also just make sure that, are you the right person to do that job? I hate mowing the lawn, so I have somebody mow it for me. So just figure out what do you really like. If you don't like doing it, you may not ever do it.
You may not ever do it,
right, Right.
Okay, all right, this is one of many topics that you and Peg discuss. You co-wrote a book together. Remind people about this and kind of what they can get from the book.
Well, the book is about leadership. It's the honest truth about leadership, and it's really helping you to take your natural skills and apply them to your team in business and to your clients and help them too.
Okay, that is the goal. They do well, you do well, right? It is a team. All right, so I want to let people know they can get a copy. It's on Amazon, right? Just type it on in, and you can go to actioncoachcolumbus.com as well if you think Pete and Peg could help your team, which really, from the lessons I've learned, they could help every team out there. So
thanks, Robyn.
There you go. Pete, thank you.
Thank you.